explain the situation in a friendly manner. Today, while waiting for the printer to process the receipt, a customer asked for the receipt, and I replied, My apologies, our printer tends to be sluggish during busy hours, but it's been working hard all day. Customer. Who? Me. Pausing, the printer, of course. Customer. Why do you refer to it as a her? Me. Initially unaware of her concern. Oh, I just gave it the name Sheba. Customer. I didn't ask about the name. I'm asking why you attributed a gender to it. Me. Now understanding her point, I apologize. I won't do that again. At this point, she began lecturing me as I rang up and bagged the next customer's items, who had been listening to the entire conversation. Other just sign this document that will dock you 11.5 hours. I'm a middle school teacher who speaks fluent Spanish, thanks to growing up in the West Valley. Go Suns! The fact that I'm bilingual has given me many opportunities, including one where a teacher in charge of an N. I'm presented with a contract that I need to sign, which will deduct 11.5 hours from my pay, and I'm not happy about it. As a middle school teacher fluent in Spanish, I've had various opportunities. One of them was tutoring students twice a week for the English Language Learner program, with additional prep time. This was all part of my 7th-hour prep on Mondays and Fridays, where I'd punch in 15 minutes before 2:20 and out at 3:30. However, at the end of the year, I received an email stating that I was being docked 11.5 hours for punching in before the end of the day. I was infuriated, as I couldn't recall seeing any restrictions on when I was supposed to punch in those hours. A meeting was set up with a district representative, who showed me a contract I signed. I pointed out that it didn't specify when I was supposed to punch in those hours, but she insisted I sign the document, claiming I'd be getting double paid. That's when I decided to employ malicious compliance. I quickly signed the document, but with a twist. I used my middle name, which happens to be $CKT$Bull$IATA, for not speaking to my parents again after they put my cat down. For context, I'm 28. The vet's office is literally 10 minutes away. I had them take him because I have 2 herniated discs and can't carry the carrier and open the multiple doors and hold the carrier without F. Am I the a-hole for cutting ties with my parents after they took my cat to the vet without my consent? For context, I'm 28. The nearest vet is only a 10-minute drive away. I had my parents take my cat because I'm struggling with 2 herniated discs and couldn't risk injuring myself by carrying the cat carrier. I thought my cat was just a bit under the weather, but since he was due for his shots anyway, I agreed to let my parents take care of it. I even cooked dinner for the whole family while they were out. As soon as they left, I called to check in, and my father assured me everything was fine, though he mentioned my cat had a slight fever. When they returned an hour later, I was met with my distraught mother and a visibly shaken father. It turned out the vet had discovered a large mass on my cat's kidney and suspected stage 3 to 4 cancer. Without consulting me or giving me the opportunity to say goodbye, they made the decision to put him down, supposedly to spare my feelings. I was furious and heartbroken, and I let them know that I never wanted to speak to them again. I felt they had not only made a decision for me but also TIFU by forgetting to turn off my Bluetooth speaker when I went to the bathroom. I work in an office suite with a few other guys. We're all in our mid-50s. I'm the only one that plays first-person shooter games. And I often do so with my phone on the toilet. I keep the volume. I embarrassed myself by leaving my phone connected to the office speaker. I share an office suite with a few colleagues in their mid-50s, and I'm the only one who enjoys playing first-person shooter games. One day while on a break, I decided to play a game on my phone while seated in the bathroom. I kept the volume at a low level to preserve stealth and focus on the game. As I was engrossed in the game, I couldn't hear it anymore. I gradually increased the volume, but the game's audio remained inaudible. Not wanting to pause the game, I continued playing in silence for about 10 minutes. After completing the game, I returned to my office and noticed that my phone was still connected to the speaker and its volume was at full blast. For roughly 10 minutes, the office had been filled with the sounds of gunfire, explosions, and frantic screams. TLDR. I serenaded my colleagues with battle sounds because I forgot to unpair my phone while I was in the bathroom playing a game on my phone. I ate for building a fence and blocking my neighbors from the road, forcing them to take a massive detour. So I am the owner of a large house with a huge property surrounding it. When I bought my property 5 years ago, I basically lived at least 5 minutes away from the nearest who. Am I the a-hole for constructing a fence and blocking neighbors from the road, forcing them to take a detour? I've been the owner of a spacious property for 5 years, and initially, I had a considerable distance between my home and the nearest neighbor. However, due to the expansion of nearby villages and towns, new houses have been constructed next to my property. When I first moved in, I removed some trees and created a dirt road with gravel for easy access to the nearby main road. The road, although on my property, was not initially a concern for me, and I allowed it to be used as a shortcut by my neighbors, who would drive through it to reach the main road. I was even okay with kids playing football in my field, as long as it wasn't causing any inconvenience to me. However, things started to change after a few months, when parties and gatherings would leave my road and field filled with cars. Some people began parking on my property regularly, despite my requests for them to stop. I had various conversations with my neighbors, ranging from apologetic individuals who would move their cars to aggressive ones who told me to mind my own business. Eventually, I had to take more drastic measures and started getting cars. My landlord died around 3 years ago and I am living rent-free. I, 23F, moved into a duplex with my mom in 2017. The owner of the house had died, but I guess her daughter inherited the property and charged us pretty cheap rent, no lease or contract, we just paid cash. Fast forward, approximately 3 years have passed since the owner of a duplex I occupy with my mother suddenly passed away. We initially moved in during 2017, following the demise of the previous owner. Her daughter took over the property and initially charged us a relatively affordable rent, with no formal lease or contract in place. We simply paid cash. Fast forward to around 3 years ago, the daughter also passed away, leaving behind no heirs to inherit the property. My mother advised me to remain in the house until the bank or any rightful claimant notifies us, which would necessitate at least 30 days' notice. However, 3 years have elapsed, and we have yet to receive any such notification. To ensure the house remains tax compliant, I have been checking on the property tax payments. Fortunately, the taxes have been paid up to this year, and I still have time to make the current payment before a tax certificate is issued. However, I am uncertain about who the rightful owner is or whether I should pay the taxes. The public records still list the original owner's name, suggesting it may not have been inherited.